Hi guys, Ken Stone here. Got the Toshiba part here on the desk, and got the Toshiba part, and I'll add the laptop again. And I took the heatsink off um, just because I want to do a little testing before we really get into this. Um, on the other meter that we read that it was drawing amps um, even when the laptop was off. So I want to make sure there's nothing on the motherboard heating up um, unexpectedly. So I'm going to read. We're going to put it on the power supply that reads what the amps are and stuff. So like this here, I'll show you. I'm going to get some tweezers and cross it, and you can look right up here on the screen, um, up at the meter here, and it'll show you how many amps and stuff it's pulling. So I set it at 19 watts and 1.48 watt or amps rather. So I set it so it won't go too high on the amps because we don't want to blow the board out. But it's set at 13 volts, so that's what the board is rated for. So when I plug this into the laptop, technically there's no battery attached to it. I had the BIOS battery attached to it, but it shouldn't be drawing any amps because there's nothing attached to it. So we're going to see if it draws amps. If it does, we're going to disconnect it real quick. And then I'm going to plug it back in, and we're going to use the thermal camera to see what is heating up. I don't have the heat sink on there, so I'm not going to leave it on there for long though, because I don't want to blow something up. So first we're going to plug it in to see if it's drawing any amps. So let's see about that. Right now it's at 30 milliamps, 28 milliamps. So something is definitely taking something, but there's nothing really on the board. I'm gonna hit the power button, and now it's up to. It's almost running. It's almost like it's running right now. So it did start after I pushed the power button, which is fine. But when the board is off, it shouldn't be doing anything. So let me get the thermal camera going here. Okay, so now we get thermal camera going, and we get the board. So I'm gonna plug it in, and we're gonna try to aim it so you can see what's heating up. Let's see if we can pinpoint what is going on here. So I disconnected it, so let's plug it back in. Twenty-eight milliamps still. And this part right here is starting to heat up again. Just like that part down there also. Disconnect it. I don't want to get it too hot. I think it's on the other side of the board though. Okay, gonna reconnect it. I'm gonna flip the board over. That part right there is getting hot. This one right here. So between this chip and the CPU on the other side, getting warm. This glow is from the other side. This one is the CPU. So let's disconnect this. Okay. So let's look up that chip. Um, see what that chip is. If the last time I did this, I just tested the board a little bit. before I started this series, and I believe it has to do with the Ethernet port, um, which shouldn't really have anything to do with the charging. But we will look up that chip together and we'll see what's what. Transition back over. So we use a camera. We didn't want to heat the board up too much, but we found two chips on this motherboard that's throwing us an error. So the rest of the probing, I'm going to stick the heatsink back on here and attach the fan, and that way the board is protected because I know it's going to heat up some. I just don't want it to be too extreme while we're doing our probing. I want to have this heatsink on here, but I wanted to show you guys with the thermal camera how to look at the board with the amps that were being pulled. Normally, it would be 0 amps pulled until you hit the power button, and then something comes on, especially without the batteries plugged in. So there's definitely something going on with the board. I know that the battery's not charging correctly, so but the other chip, the second chip that was heating up, like I said, it's like a internet Ethernet port chip, I think. So I'm not sure why that one's heating up, but if I can find the solution, I will. Right now the board is running, so we're just going to do our micro soldering until I figure it out, and then hopefully by the end of this we can fix the thing and we won't be doing that anymore. So we'll do a lot of probing, figure it out. Let me get this put back together. Pretty neat where you can see where the current is going with that thermal camera. So next we're going to check the power supplies and stuff. See the current that's flowing. So let me change cameras again. And change cameras again. Transition here. Okay. All right. So now that I'm on here, so we're gonna do a little probing here. Um, right here is your power supply coming into the motherboard. So we're gonna check some voltage. Get the multimeter going. And we're gonna do um, um, continuity mode. Sorry, I think about it for a second. I'm gonna move this stuff a little closer. Take down the thermal camera. I think we're done with that. All right. So I'm gonna check these power supplies here. I'm gonna find out the power that's coming into this jack. Right now, pulling 29 milliamps again. And the fan is not on. If I push the power button, the fan does come on, but then it goes back out. So I'm gonna unplug it because I don't want it to run yet. Um, So I'm going to plug it back in, and now we'll check DC voltage coming in. And we have 19.29 coming in, and the meter there says 1930. So we got consistent reading there. So I'm going to put a black probe on the ground, a ground, which I can use over here. And then I'm going to probe this capacitor. Oops. So this capacitor we have 19.5. A little loss there. 19.5. This power supply here. Let me back this up so you can see. Or bigger overview. Okay, so we put the black on a ground, and this we're looking at. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Okay, so we're putting the black on there, ground, and we check this power supply here. This is coming out 0.600 millivolts. Not sure if that's good or not. This one here. So this is a 5-volt rail. This one's a 3-volt, 5-volt right here. So this is a 3-volt. That's your 3-volt rail. And this is like your 5-volt rail. Okay. The heat sink feels really cold, so that's a good sign. I don't want to blow the board out. The CPU out. Sorry, I have automatic lights on. I'm gonna set that so it doesn't go out. There you go. So yeah, so we checked some voltages. Let's check some capacitors. Check those out. Unplug the board. Take the power button off. Actually, I take the power button off, see if it's still drawing power. Let me see. Same power. All right. Um, yeah. So far, we know it's pulling power somewhere. We don't know where yet. I'm gonna start probing the board and see if we can find a chip that's off of some kind. Something's off still. Um, see if we can figure out why it's pulling that power. Um, yeah, I'm not sure where to start yet, but we will try. Right now, like I said, this computer works, so it has. I don't know what it has to do with, but we'll figure it out. Um, so I switch over to. Uh, Actually, before I switch over, um, so I'm gonna end here on this one. And the next one, we're gonna not so much use a power supply. We're gonna use a multimeter and just start checking the chips on the board. See if we can find a faulty chip. We'll take our time and see if we can find a faulty chip. I know there's two chips that are showing trouble, but there might be a chip attached to those that is making the chip um, almost like a short going on. So, all right. So I'm gonna switch over to this one. So I think we'll end it there. Like I said, the next one we're gonna just take it chip by chip. I want to do the initial startup as far as checking with the thermal camera, figure out what was going on, what chips were falling, and then we'll go from there. So, if you like the video, share it, come back for some more. Hopefully, you learned something today, um, and we'll try some more next time. So, I'm gonna the next one we're gonna just go chip by chip and see if we can find a bad one. All right. All right. We'll see you next time.